I'm an apartment manager, and my tenant pays rent in cash that smells like a zoo?
Okay, so this is weird. Like, really weird. I've been an apartment manager for 15 years. 15 years! I've seen it all, or so I thought. I've dealt with leaky faucets, noisy neighbors, questionable stains on carpets, you name it. But this? This is a whole new level of bizarre. It started with the rent. My tenant, let's call her Anya, always pays in cash, which isn't inherently unusual. We still accept cash here. It's an older building, some people just prefer it. But the smell is what got me. It's like a zoo. Seriously, like a petting zoo mixed with a slightly damp lion enclosure. I don't know why I even noticed it at first, but it's persistent. Every time she hands me the wad of bills, this distinct animal odor hits me. I tried to ignore it, honestly. I thought maybe it was just me, my nose playing tricks. But it's not. It's definitely coming from the money. I kept wondering if I was losing my mind, if the stress of the job was finally getting to me, but the smell was undeniable. I manage a pretty decent building, mostly young professionals, a few families. Anya's different. She's striking, like model-level striking. Tall, beautiful, always impeccably dressed. But she's also incredibly private. Barely says a word, never has visitors, keeps to herself. Which, fine. Everyone's entitled to their privacy. But the cash payments, the smell, it just felt off. I've been doing this job long enough to trust my gut, and my gut was screaming something wasn't right. I've seen enough shady characters come and go to recognize a red flag when I see one, and this felt like a giant neon red flag waving in my face. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe she works with animals, a vet tech, a zookeeper, but she drives a fancy sports car, and she looks like she spends more time getting her hair done than cleaning up after a chimpanzee. It just didn't add up. Honestly, I kept thinking, it's just cash, it's just a smell, stop being paranoid. But I couldn't shake it. The feeling that something was deeply wrong gnawed at me, keeping me up at night.
Then came the feather. I was doing a routine inspection, checking for leaks, making sure everything's up to code, and I found a single iridescent blue feather right outside her door. A really exotic-looking feather, not like a pigeon or a sparrow. This was something different. I picked it up, examined it. It felt oily. I tucked it into my pocket, feeling a little ridiculous. What was I going to do, present it as evidence in a wildlife crime investigation? But it just added to the weirdness. I started paying even closer attention. I'd linger a little longer when I passed her door, trying to hear something, anything. And I did. Late at night, sometimes, I'd hear noises. Not human noises, more like rustling and chirping. And once, I swear I heard a low growl. I know, it sounds insane, but I'm telling you, something was going on in that apartment. The unsettling sounds echoed in my mind, making me question everything I thought I knew. It got worse. I started noticing unusual packaging in the dumpster, huge bags of something. It smelled strongly of disinfectant, but also fruity? And then there were the deliveries, giant boxes, always arriving late at night. I couldn't see what was inside, but they were heavy, really heavy. I started feeling genuinely uneasy. I considered calling the authorities, reporting my suspicions. But what would I even say? My tenant pays rent that smells like a zoo and I found a feather? They'd think I was crazy. I mean, maybe I am crazy. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something illegal was happening. I felt obligated to do something, but I didn't know what. I started researching exotic animal trafficking online. It was terrifying. The thought of someone keeping endangered species in a small apartment, it was horrifying. I felt a responsibility to protect those animals, even if it meant risking my job, maybe even my safety. The images I saw online were disturbing, and I couldn't shake the feeling that Anya was somehow involved. I decided to do some discreet investigation. I'm not proud of it, okay? It was a breach of privacy, I know that, but I felt like I had no choice. I started checking online records, looking for any connection between Anya and exotic animals. I even tried to hack into her building's security system. Don't judge me, desperation does things to a person. And then, I found it. An OnlyFans account. I almost dropped my laptop. It was her, Anya, but it wasn't what I expected. It wasn't, what I was imagining. It was animal cosplay. Seriously, she dresses up as exotic animals. Lions, tigers, parrots, monkeys, you name it, she's got a costume for it. And the photo shoots? They're elaborate. She's got props, backdrops, the whole 9 yards. It was bizarre. But it explained the smell. I felt a wave of relief, but it was quickly replaced by a chilling realization that I still didn't understand the full picture. I kept replaying the images in my head, trying to make sense of it all. The costumes, the props. They must be made of some kind of synthetic material that retains odors. And the disinfectant? Probably used to clean them. It all started to click into place. The noises? Probably just her practicing her animal impressions. The heavy boxes? Costume deliveries. The feather? Probably just fell off one of her props. I felt incredibly stupid. I'd spent weeks worrying about illegal animal trafficking, when all along, it was just a woman with a very unusual hobby. I felt relieved, of course, but also a little embarrassed. I'd invaded her privacy, jumped to conclusions, and wasted a lot of time and energy on something completely ridiculous. I wanted to apologize, but I didn't know how. What do you even say? Sorry for suspecting you were running an illegal exotic animal trade. It was just the smell of your rent that got me. The absurdity of the situation left me speechless, wondering if I should just forget the whole thing and move on. I wondered if I should just pretend the whole thing never happened. Then, a few days later, she paid her rent. Same as always, a wad of cash, smelling faintly of something. Not zoo anymore. Lavender, actually. And there was a note tucked inside, a small, neatly folded piece of paper. It said, "Thanks for keeping the building safe." And the rent was $100 higher than usual. $100, neatly folded, smelling of lavender. I stared at it for a long time. I don't know what to think. Did she know I was snooping? Did she suspect something all along? Is this a peace offering? Or a playful warning? I honestly have no idea. I'm still trying to process everything. I keep replaying the whole thing in my head, trying to make sense of it. I feel like I'm in some kind of weird, surreal dream. I keep replaying the whole thing in my head, trying to make sense of it. But then I noticed something else on the note. A faint smudge of what looked like scales. I've been replaying the whole thing in my head, trying to figure out if I overreacted. Probably. Definitely. But at the time, the clues were there, and they were unsettling. I kept thinking about the feather, the noises, the smell. It all added up to something sinister in my mind. I feel bad for jumping to conclusions, for invading her privacy, even if it was just a little bit. I should have just minded my own business. But it's hard, you know? When you're responsible for the safety of a building and its tenants, you can't just ignore things that seem suspicious. I just wish I had handled it differently. Maybe talk to her directly, instead of resorting to amateur sleuthing. But I was scared. Scared of what I might find, scared of being wrong, scared of looking foolish. The fear that I had missed something crucial kept me on edge. I started to wonder if I should just quit my job and move to a remote cabin in the woods. I've been talking to some of the other tenants, trying to gauge their reactions. Most of them haven't noticed anything unusual. They just think Anya is a quiet, eccentric woman. A few of them have seen her carrying large boxes, but they assume she was an artist or a performer. Nobody suspects anything like what I did. I feel like a complete idiot. I'm starting to wonder if I imagined the whole thing. Maybe the smell was just my imagination. The noises were just the building settling. The feather was just a random coincidence. But I know I smelled the money. I know I heard the noises. I know I found the feather. So what does it all mean? I'm starting to question my sanity, honestly. And then I remembered the strange glint I saw in her eyes when she handed me the rent. A look that wasn't quite human. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was missing a vital piece of the puzzle. I guess the question is, what would you have done? Would you have investigated? Or would you have just let it go? I'm still not sure I made the right decision. Part of me wants to apologize to Anya, to explain my suspicions and my embarrassment. But another part of me is afraid of what she might say, what she might do. I'm left with this lingering feeling of unease, this sense that something isn't quite right. And the lavender-scented $100, that just adds another layer of mystery to the whole thing. I suddenly realized I wasn't just dealing with an eccentric tenant. I was dealing with something far more unsettling, and I had a feeling my life was about to change forever. As I locked up for the night, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched.